This master series connects with your own leadership. So I'm Genevieve, the founder of Laniakea Soulkeys, and I guide women through transformational mentorship, embodiment work, retreats, leadership pathways that support emotional and energetic healing, nervous system safety, mature feminine leadership, and lasting inner change. This particular video here wants to speak into something that I've noticed after working with women in many different settings over the years, from one-to-one settings to programs, mentorships, retreats, in person, online. I've learned a lot by observing, staying curious, and through my own inner growth as well. One of the things that I often see that becomes a really huge challenge for heart and soul led women is often that they face this part of themselves that struggles to hold power without abandoning themselves in the process. So they are women who are deeply powerful but are still abandoning their needs, their voice, their energetic capacity to hold more. And so I really want to invite you to listen to what I'm going to share and to really pay attention to your body as I share. And listen to the end for a practice that's going to support you energetically and emotionally. Because many women were taught that being loving and being meant being endlessly available, endlessly understanding, endlessly giving, endlessly carrying the weight of everything and everyone around them. I have come to learn, often through my own lessons, that this is not sustainable and it's not okay. It's not okay for women to feel that we must be endlessly available, understanding, given, and carrying the weight of everything else and everyone else outside of ourselves. And so what it can look like is replying to messages when your nervous system exhausted because you don't want someone to feel rejected. So already you've moved into, I don't want that person to feel rejected or ignored, so I'm going to respond quicker so that they don't feel that. Often because we ourselves have struggled with rejection, right? It can also look like talking yourself out of your own boundaries because you can understand why someone behaves the way they do. And so this can look and feel like compassion, but often it's usually overriding your own discernment, your own intuition, the information that's been given back to you about the dynamics that are actually true in the relationship. Be this in business, be this in life, be this in love. Another way that this can show up is holding space for everyone else emotionally while secretly feeling completely under-supported yourself. That is very, very common in women, in mothers, in business owners. If we are not honest about where we need supported and where we are emotionally overgiven, we will deplete and burn out very, very quickly and rapidly in ways that can take years to recover from. And so another way that this can show up, and feel which one's most true for you, is saying yes when your body is screaming no. It's becoming an emotional regulator for relationships, friendships, family systems, teams, clients, or partners. This can look like a woman going to a retreat for herself and then feeling like she has to hold the retreat because she doesn't trust the person that is holding the space to hold the way she can. So we'll see ourselves in this. We can carry guilt when we disappoint people. We might over-explain our boundaries when nobody feels comfortable, or when nobody feels uncomfortable, sorry. It might look like us staying soft externally while resentment is building. So we could be soft externally and appear very calm, but resentment is building up internally. We might feel responsible for everyone's emotional experience around us, so we carry this immense pressure to fix and make everything okay. And this can show up in our relationships, our motherhood, and our business. So what happens is we never fully rest because our nervous system is always scanning, managing, fixing, preparing, and holding. And eventually what happens is women become deeply exhausted without fully understanding why. And this can show up as anxiety, depression, chronic fatigue, autoimmune disease. There's many ways that it shows up physically in the body before we even recognize it, because the body never feels truly safe to exhale. And so because the exhale isn't happening, there's an energetic leakage. And I think many women confuse self-abandonment with love because it's so normalized for so long. So we can confuse self-abandonment with love, dedication, devotion, hard work. But mature feminine leadership requires something different from us. And a woman who is here to create impact must learn discernment, energetic boundaries, nervous system safety, emotional responsibility, self trust, and the ability to remain connected to yourself even when others are uncomfortable. Because if your nervous system is constantly carrying everyone else, eventually there's nothing left to sustain your own life force. And this is where it gets really tricky. We will meet this maybe often in a repetitive loop until we understand what's actually happening. And I can see very clearly it's where a lot of women are standing right now. It's this threshold moment where we're recognizing and seeing very clearly the burnout, the emotional exhaustion, the disconnection from ourselves, and we're quietly resentful, longing to feel held too. And so the shift begins when we as women stop asking, how do I hold everything? And instead we start asking, what is actually mine to carry? And so this might look like creating boundaries around the relational dynamics in your motherhood, in your relationship, in your life, in your finances, in your business dynamics, your entrepreneurial relationships. And so that question, what is mine to actually carry, changes so much in our relational field to ourselves and to the world outside of us. It changes our relationship in leadership, in business, in motherhood, friendships, and I would actually say in almost everything. And so, what I want to invite you to do in this moment is I want you to place the invitation. It's always an invitation, but if you could for a moment, just take a breath, put your hand on your heart and your hand on your womb. It can be your left or right, it doesn't matter. Left is receiving, right is given. So decide, do you want to give to your heart, receive from your womb, or vice versa. And then I want to invite you to take a really slow, deep breath. And as you're taking those breaths and you're feeling your heart, your womb, your breath, begin to ask yourself honestly, and your eyes can be closed or open, whichever way feels good for you. Where am I abandoning myself? Trying to maintain connection, peace, approval, or safety? I'm going to ask that question again. Where am I abandoning myself? Trying to maintain connection, peace, approval, or safety? And we'll ask it one more time because I want you to notice where this feeling lives in your body. Where am I abandoning myself, trying to maintain connection, peace, approval, or safety? Because often the breakthrough moment isn't as dramatic as we think, and the feeling, the sensation, the energetic charge lives right there in your body. And when we meet that moment, when we meet that breakthrough, it is usually the moment when a woman finally recognizes, God, I've been carrying too much alone for too long. And it's from that place of awareness that true embodiment begins. And so we're going to go deeper into that practice. Your hands in your heart, your hands in your womb. You're still breathing slowly with me. You're still asking yourself the question about the abandonment. And you're also going to ask now, you're going to go very deep and get very clear and focused. Where am I leaking energy right now? Where am I leaking energy right now? Where am I leaking energy right now? We're not finding this from the mind, we're asking the body. So, not from the mind, from the body. Where am I leaking energy right now? And the invitation then is to notice where the sensation is most alive in your body. Is it tightness in the chest? Is it heaviness in the womb? Is the tension a knot in the stomach? Is it a pain in between the shoulder blades? A pressure in the throat? A weight upon the shoulders? Like, it lives in the body. The sensation, the energetic and emotional charge lives in your body. It's possibly an exhaustion in the nervous system. You feel a wave of tiredness just move through that you haven't had space to connect to. I want you to pause long enough to feel it honestly. We're not moving in to fix it. We're not moving in to judge it. We're simply becoming aware of the sensation that's most alive in the body in this moment. And what we're going to do is we're going to validate what your body is communicating to you right now. And How we do that is you might just gently say, and you can say this out loud. I find speaking it out loud to the body, to the sensation, to the energetic and emotional charge is very, very healing, very, very therapeutic, and gets a breakthrough almost immediately. So you're going to validate this feeling in your body and you're going to communicate. You might say something like, I see you. You might say, you don't need to hold all of this alone anymore. You might say, it makes sense that you feel exhausted. Or it's safe to soften in this moment. You might confirm or affirm to yourself, you're allowed to stop over carrying. And so, as you're affirming love and validation and connection to the sensation, the feeling, the energetic charge that's alive in your body, in the part of your body, I want you to ask it honestly. What do you need to feel more safe, to feel more loved, to feel more supported, to feel more protected? And then simply ask and listen. So, as you've asked this question about where you feel more safe, more loved, more supported, more protected, and then I want you to listen. And as you listen and receive this information, this is how women begin to rebuild energetic integrity within themselves, mature feminine leadership with themselves, because you're listening for the answers from inside of the body, internally rather than externally. And what you're receiving is information about where you truly are. And it's not through force, it's through this deeper relationship to yourself. And often the breakthrough moment will come when we are not pushing harder. It's when we finally feel safe enough to listen, safe enough to listen, safe enough to receive, safe enough to actually pay attention to the information that our body is giving us about where we are truly at. I want you to move into that practice as much as you can and go deeper and deeper with the validation and the asking of what do you need to feel loved, safe, met. And let me know how you get on with it. I'd really love to know. And thank you for being here. It is women like you that keeps my feminine pulse alive with hope for this world and our future evolution. Thank you so much for being here.